Connecting. Good morning, everyone that just got kicked off of the webinar because my internet decided, or my whole computer just went. But anyway, here we are again. Let's see if we've got you on here. I can see that there's still participants here, so apologies if we kicked you off. Anyway, I went through a process of spiritual understanding. I actually was on a journey by myself for about a year and a half, coming up to 2 years, when I sort of woke up. So spiritually, things started happening to me, energy started touching me through going to a psychic, and that process, she wouldn't let me go back. So I was on my own with no friends that even understood or were interested in what was going on. And so went on a bit of a journey of my own, guided by spirit, because I had some crazy things happen. The lady, the psychic that I went to, actually, when she wouldn't let me come back, she said, go and get the book, The Eagle and the Rose by Rosemary Altea. And so this is a book about a woman that experienced having a Native American Indian guide, and it's the story of her experience with him. And it didn't do anything for me because I wasn't able to see at the time. I wasn't able to see anything in my reality. And so I was like totally bummed out that this book that was the only guide that I'd been given was doing nothing for me, right? I have this experience where I'm wanting some sort of guidance, and my cat got attacked by 2 pit bull terriers out the front of my house, and the only other person that saw it was a guy that lived across the road, a big, like, just to look at, was this bushman, right? He was thin, he wore Bond blue t-shirts and khaki shorts, had a cowboy hat that he wore all the time, and I think he mowed lawns. Well, he did. He mowed lawns. He was did people's landscaping and stuff like that. And so I had to go to his house. Didn't know him for a bar of soap. Didn't know anyone in the area. I literally only just moved in, and I had to go to his house to get a witness signature so that I could get these 2 pit bull terriers to be put behind their, in a fenced area, so that they weren't allowed to come out and harass everyone in Holloway's Beach where I was living. So I went across to ask him to give me a signature, and I walked into his house, and he had Buddhist sayings all over the house. And it was the first person that I'd met that had any spiritual understanding, and he lent me a book. It was the 4th book of Conversations with God with Neale Donald Walsch. And as soon as I started reading the book, I just felt, oh my gosh, someone that thinks like I do, there's other people out here, I'm not crazy, right? And so that was the start of the journey. I then had some other weird stuff, like just guided by spirit all the way. Just as a quick example, I remember being in the shopping centre, and I went past the health food shop, and they had a discount book sale in a big table out the front, and they were just books all over the place, no rhyme or reason to them. They were all a mess. And I'd gone through and had a look, and there was nothing that, touched me or nothing about anything I was interested in. Went off, did my whatever I did, shopping and all that sort of stuff. And as I came back about an hour later, or half an hour later, whatever it was, excuse me, as I walked past, someone had got all of the books and put them in like a pyramid, so that they were all in this neat pile in this pyramid. And at the very top was one book, and it said, and I looked at it, and it was called With a Little Help from My Friends, and I can never remember the person's name now. I did get it. It was all about seeing and experiencing and knowing all about spirits and stuff. And so I had stuff like that happen to me all the way through, like I was guided by spirit. And so at the start of my journey was very, very exciting because I had weird stuff like that happening all the time. Those sort of things, if they happen to me now, they're so normal that I don't actually take them as exciting anymore. They're just part of my life. So I'm not even aware if they actually happen or not. So, so let's get on into it. This is, we're going to be talking about plant spirit energy. And I'm just checking to see if anyone has said anything in the chat. No, not this time. So plant spirit energy. Your world is talking to you. Have a think about that. Our world is talking to us. Everything is alive. So are you listening to the energies that are around you? So as you just heard me say, I hear spirits, most people do. We all communicate with vibration first. And so the first and second dimension, and if you haven't seen my video on dimensions, go back and have a look. Because the first dimension is sort of, you know, innate things like rocks and stuff like that, and plants. And then your second dimension is animals, right? And then the third dimension is physical humans. And so it goes up from there. And so crystals, for example, first dimension, a lot of people have the ability to get a crystal and tune into the crystal and listen to what the crystal's got to say. And so we've got things like rose quartz is the vibration of love and has got to do with the heart chakra, right? And so people can communicate and understand how to communicate with first and second dimension. Now, this is something that is scientifically proven. In fact, I've got a friend up in far north Queensland, Christine, if you're on here, I think you are, no, Brett. Brett has a machine that you can actually click onto a plant and it transmits what the plant is, the vibration the plant's saying or having, into music. And so he used to live down, I had a house that had a little bed and breakfast sort of area that I used to massage in. And then when I decided to stop massaging, it was like a room, like it was a 1-bedroom apartment that I rented out to Brett. And so he had this machine that you could hook up and the plant would talk in music to you. And so if you tuned into the plant, you could get this communication happening. Now, science has actually gone through the process of seeing how energy is, plants are working with us and talking to us. Now, I want to give you an example of energy and how energy works and how plants work with energy. So they did this experiment. Now, whether you like this or not, they did this experiment. So I've got a plant in the back of my room, and I've got one here as well. I like to surround myself with plants in the house as well as outside of the house because it's such a good vibe, brings beautiful clarity to you, grounding, connection, harmony to your energy, right? So they did this experiment and they hooked up one of these machines. It wasn't a music one, it was something else, I think. And they then, the first time they did it, they lit a match and put it next to the plant, and the plant freaked out. Like the scale just went crazy because the plant felt like it was going to be burnt. And so they could see that the plant was connected to what was going on. Well, the next experiment they did was they only thought about whether they were going to do it or not. And the plant started freaking out as soon as they had the thought. They didn't touch the matches. They just had the thought that this was the experiment they were going to do. And the plant started freaking out, right? Another thing that I've heard of is a Qigong master who had a room and he had plants in the room, and he was constantly, now this is a little bit different, but I thought it was worth talking about. He was constantly pulling what he called bad energy off people and throwing it away into the corner of the room. And he noticed that the plant that was in the corner of the room started dying. And so he sort of went, oh my gosh, I'm, bad energy, blah, 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 the plant. And so he decided to stop working. And so he actually stopped for a while. And then through that process, he had the realization that his intention was to clear bad energy from people. And what if his intention or shift of thought was that it wasn't bad energy, it was excess energy? So he went back into the same room, he got a plant, and he started working again. And instead of, when he was taking it off, thinking of it as bad energy, he was thinking of it as excess energy and still doing the same process. Well, the plant that was in the room started thriving because it was connected to, it was getting this excess energy because he changed his thought pattern of what the energy was. It was just a thought change, right? So he was able to support the plant because it was excess energy instead of bad energy. So how do you connect with plants? That's a really good question, right? You, one of the ways is, one of the ways that pagans or that sort of religion, they've got a thing, and I can't remember the name, they've got a name for it, but what it means is sitting out. And so sitting out means spending time with the plant. So if you're wanting to connect with a particular plant in your room or in out in the yard, then sit out with that plant for a particular amount of time. And so, for example, if I was going to do that with this plant in the corner here, I would sit with that plant for a period of time every day. So if you have never connected with plants before, you basically connect in a way that you just sit for a while. It's like meditating. And what you're doing is, and give an offering to the plant. So water the plant so that the plant knows that you've got a gift for it, that you honor who the plant is, and let the plant know that you desire to connect with them. Be patient. If you've never done this before, it might feel unusual and you might second guess yourself as to whether this is something, good morning, Fiona, as to something in, the information you're getting is accurate or whatever. So, and be genuine and open. So what I mean by that is the plants know who we are before we connect with them. And so just like that intention of burning the plant knows this. Oh, excellent, Fiona. When I prune my plants, I mentally tell the plants why I'm doing it. Absolutely. They, when you pick a flower, asking, the plant, can I pick this flower? Because when you ask with intention and honor, that's so beautiful, Christine. I get waves of love from my garden when I greet it as a whole. I do this every day. Absolutely beautiful. And what a beautiful way to start your morning, or to have at any time of the day, is to have that beautiful love connection between you and your garden, right? So set your intention, let the plants know what you're doing, be open to the process, and be aware that the connection is not, but they don't talk like we do. They don't talk in language. Language is a very obtuse way of communication. And so they often talk in feelings, or be aware that after you've left the plant that you may have dreams, for example. There might be something that happens. You might be connecting with a rosemary bush, for example. And through the process, someone sends you a cake that's got rosemary and thyme in it, or, you know, a bread or something. Be aware that things can happen because the plant really wants to connect with us. They love it. And so plant spirit energy is something that can be different for each person. As in, you can have an experience that, so I'll give you an example. I had an experience where a naturopath, I won't go into the details, but a naturopath gave me a tincture. I went to him for a particular thing that I needed, and he gave me a tincture of raspberry leaf tincture. And I actually questioned him because I knew that raspberry leaf tea is something that brings on labor. So I questioned him, is this the correct thing for me to be having at the moment? And he said, yes, blah, 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 blah. And he gave me the reasons. Within a few hours of having the first lot, I started going into labor, and I was only 20 weeks pregnant. And so I lost the baby. Now, whether it was because he gave me that tincture, I didn't go back and sue him or anything like that. I did question him. I asked him, like I said, this is what's happening. Anyway, I lost the baby, and there was a whole process around that, right? A couple of months later, maybe, I don't know, 3-4 months later, I went to Mayan self-care abdominal massage course. It was a weekend. And one of the things that we did in that course was we did a yoni steam. So put a comment in here if you know what a yoni steam is, or if you've experienced it yourself. It's something that's a little bit unusual. Not all women know about it. But we did this yoni steam, and one of the things that she said was get 3 different herbs. She had all these herbs in brown paper bags, and get 3 different herbs and steam them, or put them, boil them up like a tea. And so I thought, I'm going to play with this, and I didn't look at what I was grabbing. So I closed my eyes and I grabbed 3 lots of these. There was about, 20 different herbs there, and I grabbed 3 different bags, and one of them was raspberry leaf. And I was like, oh, that's bizarre. I hadn't experienced raspberry leaf since the tincture. And so I go and do the steam, and while I'm in the process of meditating through that procedure, the raspberry leaf energy, off the tip of my tongue, the sprite, sprite's not the right word, the energy of the raspberry leaf came through. Now, I wasn't expecting that. It wasn't something that happened because I was wanting to communicate with, someone's going to tell me the right, Diva, that's it. Thank you, Rebecca. That was not something that I was expecting. So I was a bit surprised when the raspberry leaf energy came through and basically said to me, we want to apologize. That was not our fault. That was not something, please forgive us, sort of thing. And I had this emotional clearing of releasing anything that I had connected to the raspberry leaf. And so be open to plants being part of what you what you experience if you're wanting to connect with them. And if anyone's heard of ashgawana or any of the traditional, like I think it started in the Amazon or in any of the indigenous areas of the world, there's plants that the shamans of the area actually will brew up, and they put two plants together to create a drink that you can then travel through the process. And let's see if I can remember. Each plant has a song. I'm just trying to think of the name of this, what they call the song. But you can tune in to the plant energy and what the song is of that plant. And they sing that song through these rituals and these ceremonies so that you're connecting with the, those different dimensions. Something that you want to be very careful with, because not everyone has a good experience with it, because you've got to, be with the correct shaman with a good intention. Again, the intention is really important. So I'm going to suggest or invite you to do a 30-day challenge, right? So meditate with the same plant for 30 days, journal the process and see what happens as you go through the process. I actually, just to give you an example, just recently I've been really connecting in with the plants in my area and the land. And one of the things, if you're a client of mine, you've most probably heard me tell this story. I have just maybe had it for about a month now, a fighter fish. So I bought a fighter fish, and I bought the things that went with it, the rocks and a plastic plant. So I put the plastic plant in, and like any other time that I've had a fighter fish, the fighter fish doesn't move around much unless you sort of give it some food or something, and then it, gets all excited, and every so often it'll come and look at me and let all its feathers, its fins out and look beautiful. But just recently I got rid of the plastic plant and I bought a real plant from the pet shop that's like a water plant. And so good morning, Irene. So as soon as I put the plant in, I noticed that the fish changed. So it was very still, but in a very different way, and it wasn't going anywhere near the plant. And it took about half an hour for it to start going towards the plant. And I was aware that it was actually introducing the two beings were introducing themselves to each other, and that they were now together in this little home. And so since then, my fighter fish has come alive, is constantly moving, excited, hangs out with the plant, sleeps in the plant. The plant's like little grass, and so sleeps inside the plant, like floating on the top or on the side. Actually feels like it's got someone with it. You can tell. And it's so much more happier since that experience. And so this is something that you can experience yourself, right? So 30 days, connect in with a plant in your yard. Allow the process to happen as it does, whatever it is. Don't second guess it, just let it happen, because when you allow instead of doubting, you're going to get and receive more information. So the more you focus on your attention, the more the plant will be supportive and connecting with you, because the plants are already there, hanging to talk with us. It's us that can get in the way. Now, one of the other things is that essential oils or flower essences can enhance the process. And one of the things about that process is I use plant spirit energy every day. I have done for 9 years now. When you have a pure essential oil that's been planted organically on chemical-free soil, that has the company knows exactly how long for that particular plant to grow, and when to harvest it, because the essential oil has is at its peak in the leaves or the roots or the whatever it is that's going to be harvested, and then harvest and distill and at low pressure and low temperature according to that specific plant, because each plant is very different. When you have the integrity of a company that has all of those qualities, you know that the vibration of the oil is specifically in that oil as well. Like, sorry, the vibration of the plant is in that oil. And so if I have something going on, for those that know, I just had my mum, I think it's been 4 months now, because I've been saying 3 months for too long. About 4 months ago, my mum had a heart attack, and I had to ring 000 3 times within a month span. And it was really, really intense. At one stage, I lost her. I was just about to have to do CPR. They were talking me through it. So my body at different stages has reacted to that, had issues with support for the first time ever. My lower back was feeling challenged. I had issues with my hips and my joints in that particular area. And so using plant spirit energy to support the emotions that were coming up and shifting the vibration so that in my chakras and in my physical body, there's just nothing like it. To know that I've got the support of these vibrational beings, and I can do it in a modern way as well, be able to use essential oils. So, like, you know, the white witch of modern day era, instead of having to concoct all this stuff with herbs, there's the opportunity to use it in a more concentrated version. Anyone that knows anything about vibration knows that essential oils actually have a higher vibration than dried herbs or live plants, because the essences are being extracted and it's concentrated, right? So we vibrate somewhere between 67 and 78 megahertz, and plants can vibrate. The highest that they've actually done any research around is 360, which is rose. And so different plants vibrate at different frequencies and therefore have different actions in your body. So if you've got something going on and you know that knowledge, then you've got the opportunity to shift it in your body as well, and use them as tools to keep your vibration high, keep yourself balanced and grounded. And just like meditation, you've got another tool that you can use, and nice and easy. I can get an essential oil, put it on my wrist, say an affirmation, connecting with it. I can feel that shifting in my sacral. I can feel all of my vibration change as I do that. Yeah, it's such a simple and easy, right? So if that's something that you're interested in, please let me know. Maybe put in here oils in here, or you know, vibration, and we can get in contact with you about that. So healing with plant energy, flower essences, essential oils, connecting with the vibration, honoring the process can help with emotions, physical and spiritual and mental health. And so is just another tool that you can use to support yourself. So for those that are on the webinar and have never connected with me on Facebook, you can do that little in vibration of oils. I'll let you know, Christine. Absolutely. I traveled through spirit realms, Liz, with no substances at all. Intention is everything. Absolutely. You can do that. Yeah. Breathing is a perfect tool. So there's a QR code. Everyone knows these days, because you've got to check in everywhere you go. If you're in Melbourne, it sounds like you've got access to going out now a little bit more than you did before. The QR code will help you to connect with me on my business page. And I have a feeling that if you want to find out any more information, just put yes, please in the chat here, and we can connect with you for a free 30-minute chat. It's the start of the month, so I've got a few of them available if you're someone that's interested in having a chat and finding out a little bit more about spirit energy, essential oils, or just connection in one way or another. I am really, really excited. I didn't put it on the slides, but I have another half day coming up in 2 weeks from yesterday, I think it is. And it's called 5 Steps to Becoming Conscious. I can't remember. It's 5 steps to something. Irene, can you throw it in here? 5 steps to creating the reality that you're after, or something along those lines. I've been doing some research and studying, and I'm doing some new training. I'm really, really excited. Raya, you might know it as well. Whoever wants to put it in, first up, first serve. So I'm very, very excited. If you are new to these and you would like to be part of the half day, please put half day and we can send you the registration link. I am very, very excited about next year, because I'm looking at doing a 12-month program that is going to support all of us to shift where we're at, move into the desire of where you would rather be. 5 steps to consciously creating what you desire. Thank you so much, Irene. Because one of the things that happens is we can get stuck in who we are now, and we like our identity. And so thank you, Raya. Our identity of who we are, based on the influences we've had from conception all the way to now, they can influence us to forget who we truly are and our higher self, and they can stop that creation, that movement towards what we really desire. And so I've found the missing link. I'm very excited, and I want to share that with you. And stuff that, when you know something, you forget that you know it. So that's what I want to be sharing on the half day. So 5 steps to consciously creating what you desire. Plus, we'll be doing a multidimensional group healing, which everyone loves. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, just put half day in here and we'll send you the link. Thank you so much. I'm pretty sure I'm way over. Thank you for all of the people that were on the webinar and got kicked out. Don't know if you got kicked out. I did. And we will catch you soon. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. And looking forward, all my lionesses that are on here, looking forward to seeing you on the 10 o'clock coaching call. And we will catch up through the week, I'm sure. Take care.